Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. I think we're having a flood. Do I even want to see in here? Oh boy. Oh, dee-do. Well, it's my day off. And I got a text first thing from Carissa saying, Sandy, your curtains didn't shut and the barn is kind of flooded. Not exactly how I had my day planned, but that is farming and that is Mother Nature, and she is being just a beast this year. We do have to get this water cleaned up. Later today, this rain is supposed to switch to freezing rain. It's supposed to get cold, and I'm just afraid this will all turn to ice. And I've had a history with ice in this barn and falling and breaking things on my body. So I don't want to do that. So we're going to take the next few hours and just clean up this water as best we can. What had happened is my curtains have a rain sensor on them, but where the sensor is where my new roof got put on, and they have the excess flap that is actually sheltering the rain sensor, so it never closed the curtains. And because the temperature went really high last night, like 10 or 11 degrees, then my barn set for like 3 degrees Celsius. So because of the difference in temperature, my curtains went all the way open and never shut due to the rain because the rain sensor was sheltered. So just a fluke thing and just crappy deal. I had actually asked Mark, I'm like, can we go away for the night just so I can get off the barn and we can have a rest? And he's like, you know what? No, we got to be around this rain. I bet you something's going to happen. He usually doesn't do that. I usually manifest stuff. And sure enough, he was right. So I think today's plans will be cleaning this floor. So what I'm going to probably do is just take the scraper like what Chris is doing and bring the water this way. I'm going to open this door crack and get as much as we can get out there. I can use the loader too and take whatever we get from this end, just push it out the door, out the big door for now. Okay, so we kind of got this, we got the heavy out of this side. So now, it'll take both of us to push this water up, and I'm gonna open that door and we'll just scoot it out there. looks like a lake. This is not oceanfront property. Oh wow. However, the barn looks better. Way better. Okay. So Chris is just going through and bedding everything. The pens aren't wet, but the tops do get wet just from condensation and just the change of temperature and the fact that they're drinking a lot of, especially here where they have unlimited milk. The difference between bottle babies and babies with their mums, the ones with their mums, they get rationed. If you watch a lamb nurse, especially at this age, mom only lets them on for literally 10 seconds before she cuts them off. So that's why it's really important to introduce creep and water, because as these mums get off their plateau of milk production, they get less and less patient letting those lambs milk them. The ewe is the actual first step of weaning lambs. It's all very natural, instinctual. So the bottle babies, the fact that they don't have anyone cutting them off ever, except for me when it's weaning day, is they will drink and drink and drink and drink and drink, and no one cuts them off. So you have to be pretty careful when they get to this age that you don't start seeing them bloat up. My biggest thing is once they start chewing these nipples, that means they're playing with it and they're not really eating it. So then it usually coincides with that 35 to 40 days, which these guys are going to be in this week. So they will be weaned, and I'll show you how I do that. This is the best. Apparently, it was a good week to sell that cow and do all the things that I was kind of having second thoughts on doing, because the pasture's underwater, everything's underwater. I don't understand why we're getting rain in Canada when we usually get snow, and Australia's like would die for this rain. Like, honest to God, this rain here that we've had today would put out a lot of fires. It's just, this earth needs to get its axis figured out, because it just doesn't seem fair. It's starting to already turn. It was warm this morning. It's cold. The winds turned to the north, and they've got freezing rain warnings starting at about, I think, 6 tonight, and then off and on all night. So I think generators need filled up and fueled up. I need to winterize my barn again, because I don't want stuff to freeze. Anyway, I better keep moving. I'm almost embarrassed to turn on my camera again, because this is the stuff I do. So this morning, because that rain sensor's not working, I've been running my curtains manually, and it was still warm in the barn. It was still like almost 10 degrees. So if you can see the curtains over there, I have like a little shade cloth there. So I left the curtains open to that level, and then I manually shut it off so it wouldn't open or close or whatever. And we had just nicely got everything cleaned out. But the wind switched direction, and then it was coming shooting straight out of the north, and literally the rain was coming straight in and onto the sheep and all over the floor again. So I just took probably about a half hour, an hour, and well, it's still bleeding in, but I got most of it out. So I had to scrape it all again. This was all flooded again, so I had to scrape it, take it all to the center again, get the loader, and scrape it out. So I always do this. I create so much more work for myself. Anyways, I've now got, the barn is down to about 2 degrees now, so it's under the set temperature, so it will stay shut. But I'm noticing my curtains, because they've snapped the roller in that heavy snow a few weeks ago, they're not shutting 100% now, but they're shut enough, so that'll get us through until it's really cold. So I took a couple seconds. If you remember, I burned out this this light up here. So right now I just have an LED. There's no heat on that light. I think Mark's got one. He said it'll produce a little bit of heat. We just don't have the right receptacle for a really hot bulb, and I don't want to fire or anything, so I think this room stays warm enough. I should put a thermometer in here, and then we know what it is during the night. Keep like a high-low kind of thing in here, because this does have a heater in it. It does produce heat on its own, but when the barn's really cold out here, I just don't want to take any chances that this thing would freeze. Alright, I think that's it for what I see today anyway, until the next storm blows in. I'm praying it won't be too bad. Oh boy. How does weather change this fast? I think we were spared the freezing rain. That is a blessing. That means we have hydro. But oh my god, there's water everywhere. Good Sunday morning. It went from April 1st yesterday to January today. It's cold and it's gonna be icy. Our whole property is just now a sheet of ice. Oh, Canada. Unreal. The amount of rain. I don't know what the total is. I'll have to ask Mark. We got a lot of wheat up and looking good this year, and all that rain is sitting there, and now it's ice. It's gonna be likely not good. Hockey or curling? So yesterday was my day off. Sundays I do work. I only have hired help for one day, and that's Saturday. So Saturday is usually the day that I can be a normal person, somewhat. Laundry, groceries, all the things. I didn't get any of that done because my day off was spent cleaning water. What do we got? What do we got? Oh! It's not too bad. Okay. It's drying up, actually. And it's not slippery. Now the pens are soaking wet. And that'll be the temperature changing. That'll be from up there, not necessarily down here. Still a little bit of water in the low spots. I think I got the heavy out yesterday. Oh, even that's pretty much dried up. That's good. All right. You guys need a good bedding though today. You're wet. Hello. Hello. The one thing I cannot handle, well, there's a lot of things I can't handle well, but the one thing I don't like is if my sheep have a wet pack. It drives me crazy. It's going to be something that I'm fighting with all winter, not because the barn flooded, but mostly because of this condensation problem, and I'm really gonna be fighting this all winter until those chimneys get put in the spring. I didn't realize how much I actually needed them in this barn until, of course, I don't have them. I'm thankful we grow our own straw because we're gonna be going through a lot of it. All right, I better get them fed and get them bedded. If you remember, I think maybe it was last week or the week before, Popcorn's daughter, the one twin, was limping really bad. She's still limping. So Friday, I put a splint on her just to see if that would correct her knee joint. But I'm really wondering if it's joint ill, which I've treated her for, and she's still not putting weight on that leg. I'm wondering if it's up in her shoulder or her elbow, like up here. But I'm noticing her vet wrap it got stepped on or pulled, so I'm just gonna grab some duct tape and kind of try to correct it here. She's doing fine, but I want to fix this leg. And I've noticed 2 more limping, same kind of thing, like they look fine except for this limp. And I am wondering if it's because of this moisture. I mean, joint ill happens when their navel is still healing. I do not do the iodine stuff because most of the time I've been able to keep everything under control with a really dry pack, but this year because of the roof and the condensation, I guess it's just not, even bedding every day is not doing the trick. So I listened to a vet last weekend. She's got a really good concoction to dip these navels. I hate it when they're perfectly good lambs and that infection gets into their joint because I'm not entirely sure I'm gonna be able to fix it. Hey, sweetie. I see your leg? So there you go. She's dragging her vet wrap, so I'm just gonna fix this quick. So I've kind of got this protected down there, but I think it's up in her shoulder or elbow or whatever you want to call it up there. She just won't even put weight on that at all. So I don't know if this is just not even worth doing. Is that your baby, Popcorn? Yeah. Hi, sweetie. Always around. Feeding's done, bedding is done, and I'm feeling much better about the situation.